Hello. Hello, how are you? I hope you are well. I should have read my notes before I started, but here we are. So today I wanted to talk about wish lists and goals. Every year I get a bonus around March from my current employer, and I wanted to kind of decide and go through how I ended up allocating the funds to spend it. So let's kind of go through that decision making process, the wants, and then where I ended up with that. So the first thing I did was start with camera equipment. Of course, the C70 in the red had just come out, so that made it to the top of the list right off the bat. The R5 and the A7S3 is out, so I was making a decision upon that in the mid grade. Maybe I should upgrade my EOS R. You know, if I switch to Sony, do I have to get new lenses? Could I get the adapter and make my Canon lenses work on the Sony? What about lights? I know Aperture came out with these new M kit lenses, so there's these two filmmaker options: the 4-pack or the 12. Of course, I wanted the 12 because who would want the 4 when the 12 was available? What about quasar lights? I know putting those in videos are cool. But everybody has those in there, so is it no longer a unique look? All these things were kind of floating around in my head, and it was becoming a little overwhelming. Aside from filming and camera equipment, what about my mortgage? I need to allocate the maximum amount of funds possible to pay off my mortgage, pay off my debt. That's something I'm very, very passionate about. I made a video, I think my last video was about that. I still need to redo my office. What about the prints that I were gonna buy for my house? What about my garage? I put a little gym in there, but I also need a place for the eventual tools I need to buy. What about the tools I need to buy? There's just so much going in to owning a house, and you don't need most of this stuff. You know, FPV drones look cool. Should I get into that hobby, even though I haven't touched my current drone in 2 or 3 years? I have a first gen Mavic Pro that I played with for a few months and then put on a shelf. You look at all these new toys, you look at all these new things, and you immediately say, oh, I need that. This is something I absolutely need. For the majority of us and for the majority of things out there, that is not correct. You don't need anything. That need is a strange word because we allocate it to something that we want, and then we justify that want by just using the word need. Something that I am trying to break out of. So when I totaled it all up, it equaled $50,000, which of course that is not going to work out for me. It won't do well if I just keep spending large amounts of money on the things that I need. So with all these thoughts going around in my head, I needed a better way to just visualize what was going on. So I just listed on a piece of paper all of the things that I wanted, like a master wish list. That way it was just outside of my brain and I could visually look at it and see it and represent it. It's all just a disorganized list. So I put down a list of everything gear wish list. I think it's right here. Wonder if there we go, gear wish list. So C70, Pro, aperture lights, kits, all that stuff. It's all on the list. I had to think to myself, what would provide me the most joy on a daily basis? Well, that beautiful red camera, although it is gorgeous and it produces a very high quality image, is that really what I need right now? Or is that something that I just really want right now? and if I get some other items, they would provide me like more joy on a day-to-day basis. My hypothesis is if I go around and I actually pay attention to what I need, what I want on a day-to-day basis, and I check off those things that have just been kind of nagging me for a while, if I fulfill those needs, I think like daily on the day-to-day basis, I think my life will improve exponentially. And then, I can put plans in motion to get those bigger high ticket items. So the idea behind this is just to be like more consistently happy as opposed to just getting a new toy. I would feel joy for a few days and a few weeks while I was playing with that new toy, and it would be amazing. But then I have a feeling like by the time it's gonna wear off and I'm gonna go back down to kind of the level of happy that I'm at now. So instead, what I want to do is I want to take that level of happy that I am now and I want to basically raise the noise floor of the happy instead of getting a spike of happy and then going back down to the same floor. So that's what I'm thinking here right now, which is hedonic treadmill. I think that's what I'm referring to. Where you have this like cyclical thing where it says, hey, I really want that thing, and you get the thing, and then your new normal becomes your like normal becomes that with that new thing. But that's the concept, is to raise the noise floor of the general happy and not get new toys that fancy me like that that I'm really excited about for a couple of weeks, and then I ditch. So also with this bonus, with what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to be a responsible human in an adult world in this crazy time. So I need to pay down my debts as fast as humanly possible, and well, as not as fast as humanly possible, as fast as possible while still not going crazy. That I'm allocating funds over here and like paying off a mortgage, but then I'm like eating beans and rice the entire time every single day, because I did that for a while to pay off my commercial debt. Now that that's gone, I should be able to lighten it up a little bit on my mortgage. Like, a mortgage is a different type of debt. Maybe it's because the interest rate is super low, or maybe it's because historically people keep mortgages around for 30 plus years. And it's such a large sum of money with a low interest rate. So, I mean, I know mathematically it makes sense is if I... Eddie, buddy. See, you're okay. You're okay, buddy. He's eyeing our neighbors. So our street's getting filled up with new neighbors, and he thinks this entire community is his. He's a little punk. There you go. Let me put you down there. Whoa. Good boy. I don't know why people are so comfortable having mortgages. Maybe it's like, that's not the right way to say that. When you're talking about commercial debt, that's one thing. People understand if you say you want to pay off your credit cards very fast. When you say you want to pay off your mortgage extremely fast, the conversation changes to be like more of like a why statement instead of, yes, this is a debt, it should go. The mood and mentality kind of shift to be like, well, you know, it's such a large sum of money. You have a super low interest rate. Historically, mortgages are around for 30 plus years. Why are you concerned about paying that off? And for me personally, I'm just not, I understand my limitations with money. I'm just not great at it. So, I mean, you are correct, right? If you look at the mathematics, if you look at the mathematical formulas, I could probably take the amount of money that I'm investing into my mortgage, put it into the stock market, and then as an average return base, I would probably get a higher rate of return in the stock market than I would paying off my mortgage. Unless we're talking about these first 3 years. So the trouble that I have personally is that I haven't historically been great with money, and I'm trying to get better in my mid-30s about being a more responsible adult and setting up like a foundation basically for what I'm trying to do is eliminate the risk. And then later on, I could always just dump a bunch of cash in the stock market if I want to with a paid off house. That's kind of what I want to do, is I want to pay off my mortgage and then have fun with the funds later. Let's say I'm getting about a $10,000 bonus this year. That's a made up number, but let's say that's the number. What should I do with the money? What do I need? Well, we need to kind of go back and look at like what is important to me. Paying off my debt, which is my mortgage, is number one. Building up my emergency fund and making that stable is number two. Spending some of it is important to me because, you know, I work hard and the bonus is supposed to be fun, partly. And so I do want to spend some money so that I enjoy the journey that it has taken to get to where I am. Because I think that is important too, is celebrating those like wins. So if we have $10,000, we split it 3 ways. You know, that's a third each. That's $3,000 towards the debt, $3,000 towards my emergency fund. I didn't really talk about my emergency fund before, but what that is for me is I want fully funded 6 months worth of expenses. I think, I haven't done the math in a while, but I think I have like a 3 or 4 month emergency fund right now. I need to reevaluate all of my expenses from month to month just to make sure that I have that cash on hand. But I do want a full 6 months at the end of the day. That way my risk factor is, we're talking about risk again. That way if I, you know, if something happens, if I need to replace the roof, if I get let go of my position, I have like a stack of cash available to me that I can go and take care of those things. It's kind of the boring plan, and I like it. Makes me feel better and more secure. That's what matters, right? Let's say we have a $10,000 bonus. We're going to put $3,000 onto the debt. We're going to put $3,000 into emergency fund, and we're going to put $3,000 into spending and having fun. And the intention behind that is saying, you know, we're making a plan right now to say, what do I want to put towards my money, and will I enjoy that? After sitting with this, I'll probably move the math back and forth a few times just to see how I like it. The important thing is I'm thinking about this and I'm doing all this stuff before the money arrives. I think that is ultra important, is to make your plan before you have the cash available, because otherwise I know exactly what happens, because I've done it countless times before. Is I'll get the money in and I'll be like, ooh, new toys. Let me go buy this, that, and this. And then all of a sudden my money's gone, and I put nothing towards my debt. I put nothing towards my emergency fund. I put nothing towards adulting. I put everything towards, kidding and having fun. And I know it's easy to get caught up in the hype of everything that's going on. I've just been binge watching YouTube videos for the last week about all the new cameras and all the new gear, and every single video is so good at making me think I wanted every single thing out there. And then I ended up with a wish list of camera gear of $50,000, and that's not possible right now. We just need to think through these things a little bit more, so that I have more of like a rational head that I'm thinking through, not just like a, ooh, I want it kind of thing. What is it that I'm actually gonna buy in my fun fund, my bonus? Well, it's kind of boring. I think actually I want to get a rocking chair for one of the patios to go and sit outside and enjoy a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. I want to get a leaf blower, which is like $100 item that I've been waiting on for months, and I don't know why I waited. It's just like a fear factor in purchasing things. I have a really hard time with buying things. Okay, this is weird. I have a really hard time with buying things that are not electronics for whatever reason. I will sit and contemplate low ticket items in like houseware or decorations are probably the worst. I will never buy decorations at all. That's why I'm like, I want to do prints on the walls, because at least that's art I created. Whereas if I buy I don't know, what is a decoration you put on the wall? If I buy like a piece of something to put on the wall, I don't like that, because I'm just like, what's the value? What's the purpose? What's the function of this thing? I'm a very like function based organizer and decorator and designer. So I'm not a designer. I'm not a decorator. Clearly, I'm an engineer. I think that comes with my engineering mindset, is I want everything to have a function and a purpose. These shelves are killing me, actually, because these, like, half the stuff on these shelves are decorating. So I'm gonna have to redo this whole office, because it's just getting on my nerves. Camera choices this year. I do have an EOS R here. I might ditch the EOS R and go with the A7S III or R5. That's what I was thinking on the camera front. Whatever electronic, whatever camera gear I go with, I'm going to tell myself that I need to sell about 50% of that item's value in order to justify buying it myself. I have too many toys and too many electronics that I already don't mess with, and it's just kind of taking up space in closets and on shelves. I need to offload some stuff before I bring more in. And while it's really fun to think about the Red, the Komodo, and to envision myself creating videos and content around with that camera, I have to honestly take a look at myself and say, what are the types of videos I'm creating now? And more importantly, am I maximizing the devices that I currently have in order to justify that step up? I have a 1DX Mark II and an EOS R right now, and for the videos that I'm currently creating, they're doing fine. Once travel opens back up, I might want to get one with an in-body stabilization so I don't have to bring a gimbal around with me. But for right now, in my current situation, the gear I have will more than handle the types of videos that I'm making. And I have to kind of sit and be okay with that, because a lot of us just want the new toys because we want the new toys. And instead, I want to take a real long look at, what will those new toys provide that my current gear doesn't? And if there's not like a justification for a jump or a leap, or if I don't sell stuff, then you know what? I'm going to be happy with what I have. I think that's a lesson 2020 definitely taught me, was to sit with what you have and be happy, be content. I'm going to try to carry that on forward, and we'll see if it's in the cards this year. I do want to do some volunteer filming and volunteer projects. I think that it would be awesome with. I've done a lot of those in the past, and I want to do some more like professional grade videos. But in all honesty, I could get away with doing it. I could easily get away with doing it with my current setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. What do you do? Walk me through your process. Throw it down in the comments. Like, when you get an unexpected bonus or an unexpected sum of money, what's your style with doing it? Is it all fun money? Is it all going towards paying down debt? Like, I'm interested to hear how you devise a plan and how you handle that situation. So let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and week, and I will see you in the next one.